Have you ever wondered what secrets hide behind someone's calm smile? What stories are buried beneath a quiet professional demeanor? Today's story will show you that the most dangerous people in the room are often the ones you never see coming. If this story moves you, hit subscribe, drop a like, and share it with someone who needs to hear about real courage and faith. Now, let's begin. The fluorescent lights hummed in the emergency room at Mercy General Hospital. It was 9:47 p.m. when the new nurse walked through the sliding doors for her first shift. Her name was Sofia Rodriguez. She wore standard blue scrubs with a simple navy hijab tucked neatly beneath her collar. Nothing about her suggested anything extraordinary. She looked like every other nurse who had ever worked a night shift in a busy city hospital. But appearances can be deceiving. Dr. Marcus Webb barely glanced up from his clipboard when she introduced herself. He was the head of the ER, a man who believed his 15 years of experience made him untouchable. His ego filled the room like expensive cologne. "You're the new one," he said, not bothering with her name. "Just stay out of the way and follow protocol. We run a tight ship here, Sophia." Nodded once. Understood. Her voice was calm, measured, the kind of voice that came from years of controlling fear in situations where panic meant death. The night started normally enough. A sprained ankle, a child with a fever, an elderly man with chest pains. Sophia moved through her duties with quiet efficiency. She didn't talk much. She observed everything. The other nurses noticed her hands. They were steady, impossibly steady. When she inserted an IV on the first try into a rolling vein that had stumped two other nurses, eyebrows raised. When she calmed a combative patient with just her voice and presence, heads turned. "Where did you work before this?" asked Jennifer, one of the senior nurses. "Around," Sophia replied, checking vitals on a monitor. "Different places." It wasn't a lie. Just not the whole truth. The whole truth involved sand and blood, gunfire and screaming. Makeshift operating rooms in bombed-out buildings where the only light came from flashlights and the only anesthetic was morphine if you were lucky, pressure points and prayer if you weren't. The whole truth had a security clearance. At 11:32 p.m., the lights flickered. Everyone paused. The monitors beeped. The ventilators hummed. Then everything went dark. Emergency backup generators kicked in 3 seconds later, but they only powered critical equipment. The main lights stayed off. The hallways filled with shadows. "Probably just a blown transformer," Dr. Webb announced, his voice tight. Everyone stay calm. But then the radios crackled to life. All units. Citywide power failure. Cause unknown. Multiple incidents reported across the metropolitan area. Sophia's posture changed. It was subtle. Her shoulders squared. Eyes sharpened. She moved to the window and looked out at the city skyline. Every building was dark. No traffic signals. Just the faint glow of car headlights and the brighter beams of emergency vehicles racing through the streets. This wasn't an accident. She knew the signs. She'd seen coordinated attacks before. The simultaneous timing. The complete coverage. "This was deliberate, Dr. Webb," she said quietly. "We need to lock down the hospital now." He turned to her, his face twisted with irritation. "Excuse me? You've been here for 2 hours and you're giving me orders? I'm making a recommendation based." "No, don't care about your recommendations, Nurse Rodriguez. Go check on the patients in Bay 3. Sophia held his gaze for a moment, and that look was something Dr. Webb didn't recognize. Something cold and calculating. The look of someone who had made life or death decisions with far more at stake than a man's pride. But she simply nodded and walked away. For now, the first ambulance arrived 12 minutes later. Gunshot wounds. The paramedics shouted, wheeling in to stretchers. Multiple GSWs. Mass casualty event downtown. More coming. Then came the second ambulance, and the third. And the fourth. The ER became chaos. Blood pooled on the linoleum floor. The smell of gunpowder mixed with antiseptic and fear. Dr. Webb moved between patients, his hands shaking as he tried to prioritize who lived and who waited. He was good in normal emergencies, but this wasn't normal. "We need more hands," he shouted. "Where's surgery? Where's our backup?" "Phone lines are down," Jennifer called out. Cell towers 2. We can't reach anyone. Sophia appeared at his elbow. Dr. Webb, let me take the GSW to the chest and trauma 2. You're a nurse, not a surgeon. Just keep pressure on the bleeder in Bay 1. Another ambulance screamed to a stop outside. More wounded. The paramedics looked exhausted, their uniforms stained dark. This is the 5th wave, one of them said, pulling Sophia aside. His eyes were haunted. It's not just downtown anymore. There are coordinated attacks across 6 districts. Police are overwhelmed. We're hearing reports of explosions at power substations. Sophia's jaw tightened. Any federal response? The paramedic blinked. How did you? He stopped, studying her face more carefully. Who are you? Someone who needs information. Keep going. Communication systems are scrambled. It's like someone planned this down to the second. Nobody can coordinate. We're on our own out here. Sophia nodded once, her mind already working through scenarios. She'd seen this playbook before. In Kabul, in Mosul. Cut the power. Kill communications. Create chaos. Then strike when everyone is blind and scattered. A scream echoed from trauma 2. The patient was crashing. Dr. Webb's hands fumbled with the intubation tube. Sweat dripped down his face. I can't, the angle's wrong. Sophia crossed the room in 4 strides. Move what? No, I don't need move. Now her voice carried command. Not suggestion, not request. Command. Something in her tone made him step back. Sophia's hands moved with surgical precision. She intubated the patient in one smooth motion, reading the anatomy like a map she'd memorized years ago. Her fingers found the bleeder Dr. Webb had missed. She clamped it. Applied pressure. Stabilized the airway. 20 seconds. Patient's oxygen levels climbed. The room went silent except for the beeping of monitors. Jennifer stared. How did UA loud crash interrupted her? The main entrance doors burst open, not sliding open. Burst, as if kicked. 6 men entered. They wore dark clothing, tactical gear. Their faces were covered with balaclavas, everyone on the ground. Now, patients screamed. Nurses dropped to the floor. Dr. Webb's clipboard clattered. Against tile, Sophia remained standing. The lead gunman pointed his weapon at her. I said, down. Who are you looking for? Sophia asked calmly. His eyes narrowed behind the mask. On the ground or I drop you. You're not here to kill hospital staff. You're here for someone specific. Who? The gunman hesitated. Just a fraction of a second, but Sophia caught it. She'd been reading body language in hostile situations since before this man learned to shave. There's a federal witness, the gunman finally said. It's brought in 20 minutes ago. Gunshot wounded the shoulder. Where is he? One of the casualties wasn't random. Someone important. Someone worth staging a citywide blackout to reach. I don't know what you're talking about, Sophia said. The gunman stepped closer. Then I start shooting nurses until someone does. He raised his weapon toward Jennifer, who was curled on the floor, tears streaming down her face. Sophia's voice dropped to ice. You're going to lower that weapon. You're going to walk out of here. You're going to forget you ever came to this hospital. The gunman laughed. Or what? You going to stop me, nurse? Yes, something in that single word made him pause. The certainty. The absolute lack of fear. Then Sophia moved. Her hand shot out and grabbed the barrel of the rifle, pushing it up and away in one practiced motion. Her elbow drove into his throat. As he staggered back, gasping, she stripped the weapon from his hands with a disarming technique that took less than 2 seconds. The other 5 gunmen swung their weapons toward her. Time seemed to slow. Sophia dropped to one knee. Using the lead gunman's body as a shield, she fired 3 precise shots. 3 gunmen went down, clutching their legs. Non-lethal, controlled. The remaining 2 opened fire. Sophia rolled behind a medical cart, bullets sparking off equipment. She returned fire with the same clinical precision. Another leg shot. The gunman screamed and fell. The last one ran for the door. Sophia let him go. She didn't need all of them. The entire engagement lasted 8 seconds. The ER was silent except for the groaning of wounded men and the steady beep of patient monitors. Dr. Webb stared at her from the floor, his face pale. What? What are you? Sophia didn't answer. She was already zip-tying the conscious gunman with supply tubing. Her movements efficient and practiced. Jennifer was shaking so hard she could barely stand. The other nurses huddled together, staring at Sophia like she'd just sprouted wings. "Someone check the wounded," Sophia said, her voice returning to that calm, measured tone. "They're secured, but they need medical attention. Leg wounds, through and through, no major arteries. Nobody moved. Now please, still calm, still in control." The nurses scrambled to obey, not because she ordered them, but because in the last 10 seconds, the entire power structure of the emergency room had shifted. Dr. Webb pushed himself to his feet. His hands were still trembling. "Who are you? Really, Sophia?" Checked the rifle, removed the magazine, cleared the chamber. Muscle memory. "Right now, I'm the nurse trying to keep this hospital safe. That's all you need to know." That's not, he couldn't find the words. "Dr. Webb, I need you to focus. That man who escaped will report back. More will come. We have maybe 15 minutes to prepare. Prepare. We're a hospital, not a military base. Right now, you're a target." Sophia moved to the windows, peering out at the dark street. They staged a citywide blackout to isolate this facility. They sent a kill team for one witness. This is a professional operation. They won't stop because we stopped 6 men. She turned back to face the room. Every eye was on her. "We need to lock down all entrances. Move critical patients to interior rooms away from windows. Gather supplies. And find that federal witness before they do." "I don't take orders from nurses," Dr. Webb said, but his voice lacked conviction. Sophia met his gaze. "Then give the orders yourself. But give them now, or people will die." For a long moment, they stared at each other. Then Dr. Webb's shoulders sagged. He nodded. "Do what she says," he told the staff quietly. They moved into action. Sophia found the witness 10 minutes later. He was in a recovery bay, sedated, a simple GSW to the shoulder, just like the gunman had said. But taped under his gurney was a small waterproof bag. Sophia pulled it free, opened it. A thumb drive. And a federal marshal's badge. This man wasn't just a witness. He was law enforcement. And whatever was on that drive was worth killing dozens of people to obtain or destroy. Sophia pocketed both items. Outside, she heard engines. Multiple vehicles. Heavy ones. She returned to the main ear and looked out through the reinforced glass doors. 3 black SUVs had pulled up. Men were deploying from each vehicle. More tactical gear. More weapons. But these weren't street thugs. These moved like trained operators. Military bearing. Coordinated positions, they're surrounding the building. Jennifer whispered, appearing at Sophia's shoulder. "I count 15. Probably more around back." Sophia's voice was clinical, analytical. "They'll breach from multiple entry points simultaneously. Standard close quarters battle tactics." "How do you know that?" Sophia didn't answer. The lead vehicle's door opened. A man stepped out. Even in the darkness, Sophia could see the insignia on his tactical vest. She recognized the unit designation. Her jaw tightened. "We need to evacuate," Dr. Webb said. "Get the patients out through no time. And nowhere to go. The city's in chaos. Whoever's running this operation has the resources to track us anywhere we run." Sophia turned from the window. "We defend here. Defend." "With what?" "Stethoscopes." Sophia walked to the secured gunman. One was conscious, glaring at her through his pain. She whispered softly, "Bismillah, in the name of God." Then she knelt down. "The man you came for," she said quietly. "Who sent you?" He spit at her feet. "Go to hell." Sophia knelt down, her face inches from his. When she spoke, her voice was soft, dangerous. "I've been to hell. I've operated in it. I've walked through it while people like you ran from it. So I'm going to ask you one more time. Who sent you?" Something in her eyes made him talk. "Syndicate," he gasped. "Eastern European. They have people everywhere. Police, government, even military. That thumb drive has names, accounts, evidence. They'll burn this whole city to get it." Sophia stood. How many more are coming? Everyone? You can't win this. She walked away without responding. Dr. Webb grabbed her arm. Did you hear him? We have to surrender. Give them what they want. And then what? Sophia pulled her arm free, gently but firmly. You think they leave witnesses? Everyone in this hospital has seen too much. They'll kill us all and stage it as collateral damage from the blackout. So what do we do? Sophia looked around the scared nurses. Wounded patients. A doctor who'd never held anything more dangerous than a scalpel. And her. Just her. We hold the line, she said quietly. The first window exploded inward. Glass rained down. A canister tumbled across the floor, spewing thick smoke. If you're on the edge of your seat right now, hit that like button. And don't forget to share this story with friends who love intense real-life heroism. Flashbang incoming. Sophia shouted. Everyone down. Cover your ears. Close your eyes. The explosion was deafening. White light seared through the room, then came the gunfire. Bullets punched through walls. Shattered medical equipment. The sound was overwhelming, primal, terrifying. Sophia moved through the chaos like a ghost. She'd retrieved weapons from the first assault team. Now she used them. She fired from behind cover. Controlled bursts. Each shot calculated. She wasn't trying to kill, just suppress. Create uncertainty, the attackers expected. Panic, surrender, easy targets. They got precision resistance from someone who understood. Their every tactic, the smoke was thick enough to choke on. Sophia moved through it like she'd been born in it. In some ways, she had been. Reborn, at least. In Fallujah. In Kandahar. In places whose names were still classified, she heard boots. Heavy, tactical, coming from the east entrance. She fired twice. The boots stopped, retreated, shouting in a language she recognized. Russian, mixed with English. These weren't just mercenaries. They were foreign operators on American soil that changed everything. Dr. Webb, she called out, not taking her eyes from the entry points. Get on the emergency radio. Broadcast on all channels. Tell them we have a federal witness and we're under attack by foreign hostiles. Keep repeating it. The radios aren't the hospital emergency radio, runs on its own battery backup. It's designed for exactly this situation. Move. He scrambled to comply. Sophia changed positions, moving to cover the north corridor. She could feel the attackers adjusting their tactics. They'd expected to overwhelm the hospital in minutes. Now, they were regrouping, reassessing. Good. Every minute they delayed was a minute closer to federal response. If federal response was coming, a voice boomed from outside, amplified through a megaphone. Attention hospital staff. We know you have Marshal David Porter. Send him out with the evidence, and we leave. You have 2 minutes. Sophia said nothing. She was counting attackers, tracking movements, calculating angles of fire. Jennifer crawled over to her position. Sophia, maybe we should know, but if we give them what they want, they'll kill everyone anyway. These people can't leave witnesses, especially not after what you've all seen. Sophia glanced at the young nurse. I need you to be brave for me. Can you do that? Jennifer nodded, tears mixing with the dust on her face. Good. Take the other nurses and get all the patients into the interior rooms. Use gurneys as barricades. Stay low. Stay quiet. What are you going to do? Buy you time, the megaphone voice continued. 1 minute. Then we come in shooting. Sophia checked her ammunition. For magazines, maybe 100 rounds total. Against 15 or more trained operators, the math wasn't good, but she'd faced worse odds. In Ramadi, she'd held an aid station with 2 Marines against an entire platoon of insurgents for 6 hours. In Syria, she'd extracted 3 wounded CIA officers from a compound surrounded by hostile forces. Each time, people had told her the math didn't work. Each time, she'd made it work anyway. The 2 minutes expired. They came in fast. Professional. 3 men. Teams moving in coordinated sweeps. Covering angles. Using suppressive fire, Sophia made them pay for every foot. She dropped one with a leg shot as he entered the south corridor. His teammates dragged him back. She fired on their position, forcing them to commit to cover, then circled through the nurses' station to hit them from a different angle. They expected static defense. She gave them fluid offense. Another team tried the west entrance. Sophia had anticipated it. She'd positioned a gurney with an IV stand in their path. When they pushed through, she used the 3-second delay to put 2 rounds into the lead man's body armor. The impact knocked him back into his teammates. She didn't stay to fight. She moved again. The hospital became a maze of smoke, darkness, sudden violence. Dr. Webb's voice crackled over the emergency radio, hoarse from repetition. "This is Mercy General Hospital. We are under attack by foreign hostiles. We have a federal witness. Requesting immediate law enforcement and military response. Repeat. Foreign hostiles on American soil gunfire erupted near the radio room. Dr. Webb's transmission cut off." Sophia's heart sank. She started toward the radio room, but suppressive fire drove her back. They'd found him. She heard shouting. Commands in Russian, then Dr. Webb's voice, frightened but alive. "They have him," Jennifer whispered from the interior room. "They're using him as a shield." Sophia's mind raced. If they had Dr. Webb, they'd use him to force her into the open. Standard hostage protocol. Except she couldn't let them execute him. The megaphone crackled to life again. Different voice. Accented but clear. "Nurse Rodriguez. Yes, we know your name. Come out unarmed, or we execute your doctor. Then we execute the nurses one by one until you do." How did they know her name? Unless... Sophia closed her eyes briefly. Someone had leaked information. Someone inside the hospital. Or someone who'd accessed employee records during the blackout. It didn't matter. What mattered was the choice in front of her. She could surrender, die, and hope they left the others alive, or she could keep fighting. Let Dr. Webb die. Maybe save more lives in the long run. The cold calculus of war. She'd made these decisions before. Intense, that smelled of blood and desert sand. In bombed-out buildings, where the choice was one life or many, she always chose many always. But Dr. Webb's terrified face flashed through her mind. His arrogance earlier. His fear now. His fundamental helplessness in a situation he'd never been trained for. She'd been trained for this. He hadn't. Sophia stood up, hands raised, weapon laid carefully on the ground. "I'm coming out," she called. "Don't hurt him." Jennifer grabbed her ankle. "No, Sophia, they'll kill you." "Probably." Sophia's voice was soft, but not immediately. "And that gives us time." She walked into the main, hands visible, moving slow. The lead operator stepped forward. He was tall, scarred, professional. His weapon never wavered from her center mass. "The evidence," he said. "Where is it?" Sophia nodded toward her pocket. "Right here. Thumb drive and badge. Let him go and it's yours. You're not in a position to negotiate. Neither are you." That radio broadcast went out on all emergency channels. Every cop, firefighter, and federal agent in range heard it. "Your window is closing." The operator smiled coldly. "The city is in chaos." "No one is coming? You sure about that?" He hesitated. Just a fraction. That's when Sophia heard it. Faint, but growing louder. The distinctive hump, hump, hump of helicopter rotors. The operator's eyes flicked toward the ceiling. The sound was unmistakable now. Multiple helicopters. Heavy ones. Military transport birds, not news choppers. "Shoot her," he commanded. "Get the drive and let's move." But before anyone could pull a trigger, the entire building shook. A massive spotlight blazed through the windows, turning night into day. The light was so bright it was physically painful. Sophia had closed her eyes the instant she heard the rotors change pitch. The operators hadn't. They stumbled back, blinded. Their weapons sprang wildly. Sophia dropped, rolled. came up with a weapon she'd hidden behind a toppled medical cart. She fired 3 times. 3 operators went down. Not kills. Leg shots. Disabling strikes, the spotlight cut off. Through the windows, Sophia could see them descending. Fast ropes dropped. Figures in black tactical gear rappelled down in perfect formation. These weren't local police. This was a federal rapid response team. Fall back. The lead operator shouted, "Extract now." His team tried to retreat, dragging their wounded, but the building was already surrounded. Sophia could hear the distinctive crack of flashbangs deploying at every entrance. The assault team was coming in hard and fast. Dr. Webb had collapsed behind an overturned desk. Hyperventilating, Sophia crawled over to him. "Stay down. Keep your hands visible. When they come through, don't move unless they tell you to. Understand?" He nodded, unable to speak. The doors exploded inward, not kicked. Breached with precision charges, the assault team flooded through like a black tide. Their movements were surgical. Each man knew exactly where to be, what to cover, how to move. Federal agents. Everyone on the ground. "Hands where we can see them?" Sophia complied immediately, hands behind her head, face down. Heavy boots surrounded her. A weapon pressed against her spine. Clear left. Clear right. 6 hostiles down, wounded. Multiple civilians present. The chatter was professional, controlled. Sophia listened to the sweep, tracking their progress through the building. They were good. Really good. Tier 1 operator, good sir. We have the witness. Marshal Porter is alive. Secure him for evac. A knee pressed into Sophia's back. Hands zip-tied her wrists with practiced efficiency. "What's your name?" A voice demanded. "Sophia Rodriguez." Registered nurse. "Employee ID in my pocket." "She's the one," another voice said. "The one who held them off?" The pressure on her back eased slightly. More voices. More chatter. Then a different tone. "Someone important entering. Where is she?" The boots around Sophia parted. New boots approached. Polished. Expensive. Officer boots, on your feet. Hands helped her up. Sophia blinked, adjusting to the light from their tactical lamps. The man in front of her wore a suit under tactical gear. FBI windbreaker. But the bearing, the way he carried himself, suggested much higher authority. His face was hard, weathered. It's a kind that came from decades of classified briefings and impossible decisions behind him. Sophia could see more agents securing the area. Medical teams were already moving in to treat wounded. The hospital staff was being separated, interviewed, protected. The man studied Sophia's face for a long moment. "Rodriguez," he said quietly. "Sophia Rodriguez. Do you know who I am?" "No, sir." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a phone. Despite the citywide blackout, it had power. Satellite connection. He opened a file, showed her the screen. Sophia's military service photo stared back at her. But the rank insignia had been redacted. The unit patches were blurred. Whole sections of the document were blacked out. According to this, the man said, "You don't exist. At least not the version of you that should be standing in front of me right now." He paused. "The version of you that retired. 3 years ago, with enough commendations to fill? A wall and enough classified operations to fill a vault," Sophia said. "Nothing. The version of you that held Fallujah General Hospital against 200 insurgents. The version that extracted a cabinet minister from Damascus. The version that trained Navy SEALs in battlefield trauma care." He stepped closer. "The version that was supposed to be dead. Killed in action in Yemen. Official story. Clean exit. New life, sir. I'm just a nurse. Right? A nurse who just held off a 15-man kill team. Who identified foreign operators on site. Who used tactics that aren't taught in nursing school." He paused. "Who saved a federal marshal carrying evidence that will bring down the largest human trafficking network on the East Coast behind him." Another man appeared. Older. More stars on his shoulder than Sophia could count in the chaos. A general. Not just any general. Sophia's breath caught. General Marcus Reeves, commander of Joint Special Operations Command. Her old boss. The man who'd signed her death certificate 3 years ago. He looked older now, more gray. More weight on his shoulders, but his eyes were the same. Sharp, knowing, proud. Major Rodriguez, he said quietly. The room went silent. Dr. Webb, being helped to his feet by paramedics, froze. Major, the general stepped forward. And then, in front of 40 federal agents, 24 hospital staff, and the remnants of a shattered assault team, he did something that made Dr. Webb's legs buckle. He saluted, not a casual salute. A full, formal, respect between warriors salute. "Ma," General Reeves said. "Permission to speak freely?" Sophia straightened despite her zip-tied hands. "Old habits. Old training." "Granted, sir. You were supposed to stay dead, Major." "I tried, sir. Not hard enough, apparently." But there was warmth in his voice. Something almost like affection. "Hell of a retirement you picked. ER nursing." "Really? Seemed peaceful. How's that working out?" Sophia almost smiled. "Could be better, sir." An agent cut the zip ties. Sophia rubbed her wrists, the red marks already fading. She'd been restrained before. Many times. This was nothing. General Reeves gestured to the FBI director. "Cut her loose, Tom. She's one of ours. With all due respect, General, she's just engaged in an unauthorized firefight with foreign hostiles on American soil. I need to debrief her. You need to give her a medal." Reeves' voice hardened. "Major Rodriguez saved your witness, your evidence. And about 40 civilian lives while your rapid response team was still spinning up. She held this hospital with a handful of borrowed weapons against a professional kill team. Alone, the FBI." Director's jaw tightened, but he nodded. "We'll still need a statement later." Reeves turned back to Sophia. "Right now, she needs medical attention and a secure location." "In that order, I'm fine, sir." "That's an order, Major, not a request." Sophia nodded. Old habits again. "You didn't argue with General Reeves." Dr. Webb had found his voice. It came out as a whisper. "Major, you're military?" Sophia turned to face him. His entire worldview was crumbling. She could see it in his eyes. The nurse he'd dismissed. The woman he'd patronized. The person he'd told to stay out of the way. She'd saved his life. "I was," Sophia said simply. "I'm not anymore, but the general just told rank. Old life." She looked around the destroyed bullet holes in walls. Shattered equipment. Blood on the floor. Some of it hers. "I came here to leave that behind." Jennifer appeared, supported by 2 paramedics. Her face was pale, but her eyes were clear. "You saved us," she said. "All of us. You could have run. Could have saved yourself. But you stayed." Sophia met her gaze. "That's what we do. We stay. We hold the line. Even when the math doesn't work, we, nurses." Sophia's voice softened. "We stay with our patients. No matter what, it wasn't the whole truth. But it was truth enough." General Reeves cleared his throat. "Major, we need to discuss your status. Officially, you're dead. That was supposed to protect you. But after tonight, my cover's blown anyway." Sophia looked at the assembled agents, the staff, the witnesses. "Too many people saw too much. We can relocate you. New identity. New city." Sophia shook her head. "No more running, sir. No more hiding." She looked at Dr. Webb, then at Jennifer, then at the other nurses huddled together. These people needed help tonight. Real help. The kind that doesn't come from protocols or procedures. It comes from training, experience, the willingness to stand when everyone else runs. She paused. There are more hospitals, more cities, more places where people need someone who can do more than follow the rules when the rules stop working. She looked back at Reeves. "With your permission, sir, I'd like to stay in the fight. Just a different kind of fight." Reeves studied her for a long moment. Then he smiled. It was a rare expression on his war-weathered face. You want to be a nurse? I am a nurse, sir. I'm just also something else, a guardian, if you want to call it that. The general nodded slowly. I'll make some calls. We can create a special liaison position. Civilian cover, military backup. You work in hospitals, but you're on call for situations like tonight. Tactical medical expertise in critical incidents? That would work, sir, but you maintain your clearance. Your rank stays active. And you train a team. We need more people like you out there. Medical professionals who can operate in hostile environments. Sophia considered this. It was more than she'd hoped for, less than she'd feared. A middle path between her old life and her attempted new one. I accept, sir. General Reeves extended his hand. She shook it. The grip was firm, respectful. Between equals, welcome back to the world, Major Rodriguez. Even if the world doesn't know you're in it, prefer it that way, sir. He laughed. Actually laughed. I bet you do. As the general walked away to coordinate with the FBI, Dr. Webb approached. He looked smaller somehow, humbled. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything, Dr. Webb. I was a complete ass to you. I dismissed you. As Sophia held up a hand. You did what you thought was right based on the information you had. That's all anyone can do. But you and I'm a nurse, she said firmly. That's all you need to remember. Everything else is classified. He nodded slowly. Will you? Will you come back? To Mercy, General. Sophia looked around the devastated emergency room. At the nurses who'd stayed, at the patients who'd survived, at the evidence that, even in darkness, people could hold the line. Yeah, she said quietly. I'll come back. Thank you. For everything, Sophia nodded once and turned to help the medical teams. There were wounded to treat, patients to stabilize, work to do, the work of a nurse. Jennifer caught her arm as she passed. Sophia, can I ask you something? Depends on the question. How many times have you done this? Saved people, fought. All of it. Sophia was quiet for a moment. More than I can count. Less than I would have liked. Do you ever get scared? Every single time. But you do it anyway. Fear doesn't stop the work. It just makes it harder. Sophia squeezed Jennifer's shoulder. You stayed too. You helped. You were brave when it mattered. That's what makes a good nurse. Not the absence of fear. The choice to act despite it. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. I want to be like you. No, Sophia said gently. You want to be like you. The version of yourself that stayed calm, helped patients, and didn't break even when the world was ending. That's already inside you. You just met her tonight. She left Jennifer with that thought and moved into the chaos of triage and treatment. Above them, the helicopters circled in the dark sky. Below, in the streets, power was slowly being restored. The city was waking up from its forced blackout, unaware of how close it had come to something far worse. But Sophia knew. She always knew, and she'd be ready the next time darkness fell. Because that's what nurses do. What soldiers do, what guardians do, they stand in the gap between chaos and safety. Between death and life, between the darkness and the light, they hold the line no matter what. What did you think of Sophia's story? Drop a comment below. And remember, the most powerful people are often the ones you never see coming. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay strong, and never underestimate the quiet ones.